Hey everybody! Today I wanted to talk to you about being brave in a series. So, whether you're stuck, whether you're feeling timid, how to push past all of that and go from good to great or mediocre to super interesting. The fastest way to make a series, in my book, is to start with a large piece of paper and cut it up. So, that's what I'm doing here. I'm going to show the process of creating the large piece of paper to cut up. If you want to jump right to the good stuff about being brave and steps you can take, go ahead and skip to 4 minutes and 47 seconds, and you'll be right there. I'm just trying to get stuff down. I'm not thinking, I'm just making marks. I'm going to be cutting this up, and I'm going to hopefully have some interesting marks to work with. I'm fast forwarding this more than normal because I know I want to get to make a few points. And since I always start the same way, I thought I'd speed it up. But I wanted to leave it in because I know lots of you like watching it. So hopefully this is the best of both worlds. You guys can let me know in the comments if you'd like something different, and I'll consider it. I was thinking about adding some collage, and I decided that I would cut it up first. Cutting, cutting, cutting. And so you can see that even though the large composition wasn't anything spectacular, these small pieces do have some interest. Okay, so laying them out, I made a few extra adjustments here and there to spice them up a little bit more, and quickly realized that I was missing out on some of the magic. So here I'm just carving into some paint, using some pastels, going about it my regular way. However, I decided the regular way wasn't working as well as I wanted it to. If you're feeling that you're over controlling things, I feel like adding a spray of water or pouring some watered down paint on something is a great way to surrender control because you don't have that much control over it once you add water. Helps get you out of your control funk, I suppose. I don't know about you guys, but when I'm not sure or when what I'm doing isn't working, I start to get tight. And by tight, I mean just more rigid and wanting to control things more and feeling stage fright, I guess, a little bit, or overthinking things just way too much. So I'm using more water and more fluid paint to try to loosen myself up easily. Again, you can only be so rigid once you add water into the equation or fluid. And my goal for each of these marks is just to do something different. So what does each piece of paper have and what does it not have? And I'm trying to add something it does not have. It wasn't working, so I decided that I would start to do 3 key things to each of the pieces. The first thing I'm deciding to do is to add white. I'm using white to quiet things down. So areas that feel too busy or that have marks that I wasn't in love with, I put white on top to just help shape the composition and eliminate some clutter. You'll see that for each one, I'm responding to what's there. So I'm not making the same mark in the same place all over the place. I am looking at each individual composition and making decisions on what needs white and where. And, at the same time, I'm really working on being brave because all of these pieces I wouldn't necessarily decide to put white on. So I was really working to go out of my comfort zone and just decide that I was going to put white on every single piece. I could decide how much and I could decide where, but it helped me get past overthinking it too much. Does this need white? I don't know. Where should I go? I don't know. And stopped being so hesitant because I knew I was going to add white to each one. That was a decision that I made up front. So that's one way that makes it's kind of a cheat. It's a little bit of a hack to being brave, because when you make your decision up front before you're actually looking at each individual piece, it helps to just say, oh, the decision's been made. I need to add white someplace. I guess I'll put it here. And you can just go through things faster. Speed also helps me be brave, because if I make a decision to make quick decisions, right, it's harder to overthink quickly. I'm sure I've done it at some point, but it helps. And again, I'm doing it in different ways each time. So that last one, I did use the brush handle, color shaper handle, to carve in. Here I'm carving in with a plastic stick just to make some different marks. So you certainly don't have to add the same white mark, just has to be white on the paper. That's my game, my rules. And likewise, you guys don't have to use these same rules, but if you get stuck and want to push past some kind of okay art to make for the chance to have some great art, I highly encourage you to think up some rules ahead of time and commit to them, and then go attack your pieces. If my voice is an octave lower than normal, it's because we've been trying to get over this silly cold for a very long time, and I think my kids keep getting us sick, and then maybe we get them sick. I don't know. It hasn't been COVID according to the COVID tests, so I'm thankful for that, but I'm over it. It's been about 6 weeks, and school starts soon, and we need these kids to be well, and I need to be well so that I can enjoy myself when they're at school. Because then I get to do more art. I know you guys can't tell because of the time lapse, but I'm not spending a ton of time on each piece. I'm trying to work quickly. I'm using some pencil here with the white, but I'm trying to move quickly so I'm not thinking so much. The next step is glazing. Glazing is just a fun word to mean taking some transparent paint, watering it down, and spreading it out. So in this case, I'm using some quinacridone gold on a baby wipe, and I'm wiping some on, and then I'm wiping some off. In this case, it's just helping me warm up some areas, right? The black and white was a little stark. I didn't want there to be such an abrupt transition between the white and the black and the red. So I wanted to put some of this orangey color to ease that transition a little bit and make the red and the oranges feel like they were, coming from a place and not just stuck there. that they were meant to be and settled. Grounded, that's the word I'm looking for, that they were more grounded. And again, when you're glazing, it's good to move fairly quickly because if you decide you don't like it, there's only so much time you can take to wipe off the glaze before it sets. You can also use watered down paint and a brush and then maybe wipe it off with a paper towel. That also works. You don't have to have a baby wipe. So again, I'm looking at each piece. I'm deciding what each piece needs. I decided that piece needed a little bit extra. When I started glazing, I would put way too much of the glaze on, if that's even a thing that you can do something too much. And then I would backtrack and put more white on, which you can also do. There's no wrong way to do it. It was just more than I wanted to. It took me a while to kind of figure out that I like just a little glaze here and there. But you'll figure out your style. You'll figure out if you even like glazing. Okay, so there are the pieces so far. The next step that I have is to use bold black paint. You can use it with a brush. You can use it with anything you want. I decided to use this acrylic paint marker, and I have high flow carbon black from Golden inside. I think it's a 15 millimeter tip, so it's a giant rectangular tip. And this helps really refine a focal point. So I'm giving something, because it's such a thick black and a dark black, it's giving a focal point, it's giving some more interest even on top of the other black watered down layers that I had. It's pulling the eye in different places and allowing for more richness in each piece. You can see when you draw in white with that thick black, it's hard not to look at that black mark. I'm using a paper in between at times to rub off just some of the black so that it's a little bit more subtle. But you can see how the bold black against the quiet white, I don't know. I don't know what it is, but I love that. Unfortunately, my husband called me while I was recording. I didn't have my phone on airplane mode, so everything went blurry after that. But these are the final pieces. Could certainly add more to them. But you can see, if you look back to the beginning now, how plain they seem. At the time, they didn't feel so plain, but now that we've added the white to edit things down, the glazing to tie things together more, and the black to really put like a kapow on it, they're just much stronger pieces at this point. Let me know how it works for you. If you found this helpful, please go ahead and hit the like button. It would really help me out. And subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. Thanks for watching, everybody. Bye.